Hey everybody, William Wallace here, William Wallace for America on my radio show, my podcast, Facebook, and YouTube. You can catch me there doing interviews like this, interviewing elected officials around our state and our country to be able to help introduce the public to the people that are working hard for them. I really feel it's the best way to be able to help our public get more involved when they know who our legislators are, where they represent, and what they're doing in those areas. And today I'm with Gregory Miller, State Rep Gregory Miller. Gregory, thank you very much for being here today. I appreciate
William,
it.
thank you very much for having me. It's great to be on your show.
Again, I appreciate that.
Sure.
Well, what's your district number?
District 56.
And where exactly do you cover? Where exactly is your district?
Most of St. Charles Parish and part of St. John the Baptist Parish. So I have my district.
I like that.
So my district starts coming upriver from New Orleans in St. Rose at Almedia Road, and it goes all the way to into Laplace, and then all the way up to past Manchac. And then on the west bank, it starts right at the parish line, Jefferson Parish line in Ama, the little village of Ama, and then it goes all the way to the Hale Boggs Bridge, and then all along the Highway 90 corridor from Luling all the way to Bayou Gauche and Des Allemands to Bayou Des Allemands.
Oh, wow, that's quite a span.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of rural. I say rural, but there's a lot of land in that area and a lot of industry too.
Yeah, a lot of industry, a lot of heavy industrial. I grew up in Norco, where Shell Oil is, and a very big part of the growth of Norco. They celebrated their 100th anniversary this past year. We also have Valero. We also have across the river, we've got Monsanto. We have IMTT, and a lot of people work in the industry, and it's very important to our tax base and our community. So we also have a lot of rural areas, lakes like Pontchartrain, Bonnie Carey Spillway, right there where I grew up in Norco. We have Lake Salvador,
all those
Lake
little houses on Manchac, when you're going through Manchac, all those little camps
absolutely,
on the side
that's all part of my district, including the Gators Den.
and
So,
all the
yes.
Gators dens in those areas.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, what is your background? What did you do? What did you do? Or what
Well,
do you
I still do it. I just have less time for it. I'm an attorney, a small practitioner, and people ask, well, what type of law do you practice? I say mostly property related. I do a lot of successions, estate planning, trusts, litigation over titles, clearing up titles, and stuff like that.
Okay. Legal attorney work.
Yeah, and I own some property that so I'm in business as a landlord, and also trying to develop some property.
Right. So that helps you in the legislative end, in that you know the legal process. You're a small businessman. You're in an industrial area, so you're really aware of a lot of things that are going on in our state
Absolutely, and we understand. I'm on a civil law committee, and so that deals with a lot of those issues that I deal with every day. Dealing with successions and trust and property and titles and so forth.
Are you on a committee here?
Yes, I'm chairman of Civil Law and Procedure Committee.
Okay.
So.
Now, you kind of told us what companies are in your district, but would you just say that it's the chemical industry that makes up, that's the biggest industry in your district?
Well, probably the petrochemical industry probably is, along with Entergy, and we have St. Charles Power Station there. That is a lot of the employment there, and certainly the chief source of tax revenues.
Okay. What was the catalyst that made you run for office?
I thought that as a state, we did not do a very good job after Katrina. We missed some opportunities. Mm-hmm. We bloated the budget, and I thought we acted like we were always going to have this money. It's like working overtime and buying a new house, a bigger house, because you think that it's never going to end.
Right.
And the music stops eventually, and that's why we were in years and years of budget crisis until things kind of stabilized until this year. Also, I thought that we had missed, we did not pay attention with Katrina, with the levees failing. I thought we needed to have flood hurricane flood protection in my district. We have part of our district is protected, but the entire West Bank had nothing. St. John Parish, Laplace didn't have anything, and of course in 2012, part of my district was flooded by Hurricane Isaac. And I just don't want to see that. You know, my campaign was about making sure that having the best schools, the best community to live in is nothing if you're under 8 feet of water.
Right, exactly. So now you have to protect industry, you got to protect people's homes, you know, and of course you got to protect the area because you have a lot of natural wetlands and a lot of natural waterways in there, and you have to know how to navigate it, so to speak, you know, in such a way that you're not only protecting people, but you're protecting our environment and which is our future of Louisiana.
Absolutely. As our coastline is disappearing, that's making us more vulnerable where we weren't so vulnerable in the past.
Right. So we don't protect our infrastructure, wetland area, and while we lose our coastline area, the inland will go quick if we don't protect it.
Exactly.
I like that school. I like that school of thought there. What do you think is the most important thing for your district?
I still think the most important thing still is hurricane flood protection, and we're well on our way. We're way further along than we were when I first got elected and when I was running, and it's been a cooperation, partnership between local officials, federal officials, our Congress, our senators, the state, CPRA, and it's been a focus where, you know, I don't come here asking for money for a splash park. I'm coming here asking for critical things for our district, and that is hurricane protection.
Perfect. Because like I said, even though, you know, people don't think of, you know, St. Charles as a flood zone, I guess, because it's, you know, it's in the middle of the state. People don't realize how it's surrounded by waterways, you know, and protecting it, like I said, helps protect, you know, the in part of our state.
Well, St. John had never flooded in my lifetime until 2012, and you realize it just needs the right storm. And Hurricane Isaac was not a very powerful hurricane, but when all of the winds and the storm sits around, it just has to be the right storm.
Well, it comes in the right way, and because you're like Pontchartrain and everything around your district, it pushes that water up just the right way.
Absolutely.
What do you think is the most critical thing facing Louisiana today?
Obviously, it's our economy, and with the trouble from COVID-19 and trying to bounce back from that, you know, but independent of that, trying to get a structure where we can make it more of a business-friendly climate to provide jobs and opportunities for our young people so that they don't have to leave the state to go find jobs.
I like that. Yeah, and like I said, if you're helping to build your district, but you're keeping an eye on things in Louisiana, you know, we're going to have good people like you that's watching out for the people of Louisiana like that.
Yeah, and we, you know, I realize we are so much more blessed in our area, but other areas of the state do not have the same tax structure and economy that we have. And I would love it to be able to spread to the rest of the state.
What do you think that's the most important thing that's pressing our state right now is jobs and coming up with the right infrastructure and the right tax structure to be able to attract more businesses down there. But what do you think that people in Louisiana themselves can do to not only be more involved, but be able to help legislators who are concerned and working hard? Is there something that people that you can do to be more involved that you?
Well, I understand it takes all that time, you know, trying to stay informed, get to know your legislators on a first name basis so that you're not waiting to tell them what's upsetting you when you're mad. Get to know them and get involved with the process beforehand. Find out what those issues are. Don't wait until you read something in the paper, but try to get to know them. And we're you know, we don't want to hear from you only when your little issue or important issue that's important to you has made you just red hot. You know, just try to get what's because we're all in here trying to make our districts and our state better.
What a lot of the legislators have said that I really appreciate, you know, is that, you know, you represent your district, and your district may be a different voting demographic than other people, but when you go to that House floor, I see people shaking hands. I see people working together. You know, you might not always agree, but I've witnessed firsthand a lot of these legislators down on the floor working together. So it appears that y'all remain friends and work together. Sometimes you have differences, but you try to use those differences to actually find some things in common to help people in Louisiana.
We have to, because you know, a lot of these bills require 70 votes, and so you have to be able to find some common ground.
Speaking of votes in the legislation, is there anything that you're working on that you want to?
Well, as chairman of civil law, I introduced a bill to try to address the high automobile insurance rates, and as well as for commercial insurance rates, and we're trying to reach a solution to that. And of course, we've heard a lot of bills in my committee to try to address that, and we're hoping that if not my bill, someone's bill that will be able to be signed by the governor, that will help bring down automobile insurance rates.
Thank you for looking out for us on that.
Yeah, we're going to try. You know.
Well, thank you, and thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. And hopefully you'll look Gregory Miller up. I'm gonna post this not only on my pages, but you'll see it on your page too, Gregory. And
yeah.
you know, and I think that it's interviews like this that I'm trying to do with all of our elected officials, and keep your eye out for them, because I think the best way for us all to work together is knowing each other, knowing where we're coming from, you know, and looking what our legislators do, and not just what you hear, like you were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
Everybody else, stay tuned to more interviews and share the video. Thank you so much.